Alright, in my last video I said that I was going to make a quick video on the whole wet clutch setup and what happened. To make somewhat of a long story shorter, back in December, might have been January, right after Christmas, somewhere in that area, I put a slug kit in the wet clutch. Just for something, honestly, just for something to do over the winter when I don't ride as much. And rode it in winter a few times, nothing real hardcore, but then during my big Wood County trip, I made like 5 or 6 videos 3-4 weeks ago about that trip, and you can see I really put the Grizzly through its test. Well, towards the end of that day, so I would consider it basically 3 rides, from when I did the slug kit to when that Wood County ride. And I put a new one-way bearing in it when I put the slug kit in. Just, you know, why not? You know, it's got 1,800 miles of really rough miles, by the way. Online, you would see one-way bearings from literally $35 to $110. You know, OEM, Chinese, blah 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 blah. So I very stupidly bought a Chinese one for $30. And I don't know if it's going to focus, but you can kind of see flat spots starting right there. Right there. Trying to find a couple more. Yeah, there's a really bad one. Right there. You can kind of see. I know it's not focusing the best. I apologize. But what would happen was at an idle, you could hear like a worn bearing noise. It was like almost like a rattling, kind of, sort of. And I ignored it for the rest of the Wood County trip. You know, when you push the throttle, it went away. It didn't do anything. It just sounded normal. You just heard a little bit of a worn metal on metal bearing sound. And then when you'd shut the ignition off, it would clink a little louder than it's supposed to. Well, I decided to tear into it because it's not like the machine was not moving. It wasn't broke or nothing. But come to find out, I don't know if I'm going to be able to focus too much on this or not. You can't really see, but this whole surface right here was chattered. And you could feel it with your fingers. And it's got to be smooth for this bearing to ride on. Well, same shit with this. There, you can see the chatter marks. See that? Look at that. Well, that's where the bearing rides. You know, and this is the basket where clutch goes over top like that, and that's what grabs, and then your whole primary CVT is right here. Well, talk about $550 in new parts, because you can get these aftermarket kits for $300, Chinese overseas shit, you know, but I wasn't going to do that when I just did this, so, you know, could have I sent this in to get machined, you know, get ground on and smoothed out again? Maybe. Would have it worked? Maybe. But you know, I didn't. I decided to get all new parts. In between Amazon vendors, between my OEM Yamaha dealer, and between Partzilla, I pieced everything together, everything I needed. This is the one-way nut, the reverse thread nut that goes on the crankshaft. This is the big bearing that rides right here. I replaced that right away. New gasket, OEM bearing. Everything is, it's quiet. It's just nice, and it felt really nice and tight in there, all fresh stuff. But just a warning to everybody. If you're gonna buy a Chinese part that rides on other parts that are expensive, just be careful, especially the way you ride. If you're running 28 12x12 silverbacks like I do, you know. But brake pads and a wheel bearing, ball joints, you know, aftermarket axles, whatever, you know, something like that breaks or goes out, you're not wrecking any other parts. You know, a wheel bearing goes out, as long as it doesn't spin in the hub, whatever. But also, you can get a hub through Power Sports Nation for I think $40-50, so it's not like you're out $500. But internals, I made a mistake. You know, I I know my Grizzlies, but I screwed up on this one royally, and it paid. And I am not happy about it. It's over with. Everything's running great. Did a good beat run on it yesterday. Didn't really take it through any mud, but popped a bunch of wheelies and took it off the sand pit. Got some jumps and really just testing it, and looks like it's really pulling good. Tires are spinning. So this weekend I got a good ride. Hopefully we can really test it out in some thick stuff. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.